Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Item number 56 in your catalog. The Black Jaguar of Machu Picchu. Thank you. Notice the flawless ruby eyes, the inlaid gold. This is indeed the rarest treasure of the mighty Inca Empire.
Oh, look at it, J. Ross.
It's no bigger than a doorstop.
But think of the exhibit the museum could build around it, all dedicated to J. Ross Richardson.
You would be trying to suck up to me now, would you, Ms. Dolan?
Tonight, this priceless Jaguar will go home with the highest bidder. The suggested opening bid for this one-of-a-kind example of Inca art is $200,000. Shall we begin? Opening bid, please.
$200,000.
We have a bid of $200,000 by videophone from Mr. Tanaka in Tokyo. Do I hear 225?
I'll bid that.
The Marquis de Vol in Paris by videophone bids 225. Do I hear 250?
Why not?
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. The bid is 250,000. May I hear 300,000? Ms. Adams for 300,000.
350.
400,000.
425.
$450,000.
$500,000.
I have a bid of $500,000 from Mr. Richardson. Do I hear 550? Do I hear 550? I have Mr. Richardson for $500,000. Last call, 500,000 going once, 500,000 going twice.
$1 million.
Who in the hell is that?
She could be from another museum.
$1 million has been bid.
Damn. I didn't come to sit on the sideline. $1,250,000.
$1,500,000. $1,750,000.
75.
$2 million.
$2 million.
Well, let's cut to the chase. $3 million.
Oh, my. I have a bid of $3 million. Do I hear $3,100,000? $3 million is a bid. Last call. $3 million going once, going twice. Salute to Mr. Richardson. Congratulations, sir.
That was great, J. Ross. People are going to line up to see this.
You have another thought coming if you expect me to hand over a $3 million cat to some damn museum.
But we had an agreement.
Oh?
You gave me your word.
Did I? Well, you don't become the 5th richest man in America by keeping your word. Alec, you still there? Don't take it too hard. You're a loser, just like your old man.
Screw you, J. Ross.
Mr. Richardson, that Jaguar will cost you dearly.
Not really. I make more than that in a week.
All your millions won't protect you. It has a curse on it. You're a dead man, Mr. Richardson.
Hogwash. Damn thing's starting to grow on me.
There really is something evil about it, J. Ross. That young woman was right.
That's just like you, Amanda, to believe in all that Shirley MacLaine Taro new wave horse manure. Well, I'll be damned if it scares me. Of course, maybe the curse is real. You'd like me out of the way, wouldn't you?
A real son of a bitch. You know that, don't you? I'm going to bed.
Mr. Richardson?
It's Burke's Law.
So, Amos, are you free next Saturday night? I'm throwing a little dinner party at my place.
I don't believe I've made any plans.
Good. It'll be an intimate affair. Just the two of us.
Dad, if you get home before me, don't bother to wait up.
Funny, I was just going to say the same thing to you.
Excuse me, it's the office.
Oh, no. Hello, Chief Burke here. All right, we'll be right there. I'm sorry, Peggy. J. Ross Richardson, the oil tycoon, just ran out of gas. Permanently.
Hello, Chief. Hi, Pete. Looks like I called you away from something important.
That's all right. The evening was almost over anyway.
Speak for yourself.
What have you got, Lily?
It's not a pretty picture. The victim looks like his throat was slashed. Beyond that, I can't say.
Who found the body?
The housekeeper. Mrs. Richardson had just gone upstairs to her bedroom.
Did you find the murder weapon?
Not yet.
I know who did it. Or should I say, what did it?
You are?
Amanda Richardson.
How do you do? I'm Chief Burke, homicide. This is my son, Peter. Now, if you have something to tell us that would be helpful, I'd like to hear it.
The killer is right beside you,
I beg your pardon?
on the floor.
Are you saying the murderer killed your husband with that sculpture?
I am saying the jaguar is the killer. That cat has a curse on it.
Really? How long have you owned it?
Not even 4 hours. J. Ross bought it tonight at an auction at Melville and Sons.
Melville and Sons. They videotape all of their auctions. I'd like a copy of one in the morning.
You got it.
Did you know any person who might have wanted to kill your husband?
J. Ross has plenty of enemies. Some of them are even at the auction. But if I had to name one, it would be Dr. Leslie Dolan. She's a curator at the Natural History Museum.
Why her?
Well, it was Leslie who wanted J. Ross to buy the jaguar in the first place. She was planning a spectacular exhibit around it. Now, an exhibit like that would make her career.
And he didn't give it to her. Is that what you mean?
Exactly. When J. Ross told her he was going to keep it, she was furious. I thought she was going to strangle him on the spot.
I see. Thank you very much. Lily, bag the cat and take it to forensics. Peter, first thing in the morning, plan on taking a field trip out to the museum.
Aye, aye.
Museum tour from Carpenter Avenue School will meet at the front entrance in 5 minutes.
Excuse me. I'm looking for Leslie Dolan. Cleopatra?
You must be Detective Burke. I got your message. Can we take a break for a few minutes?
Interesting office attire.
Actually, LA Parade magazine just selected me as one of Los Angeles' 10 most eligible singles. They wanted to photograph me on the job.
Oh, so this was their idea.
No, actually, it was mine. Too bad you missed the shots in the rainforest room.
What were you wearing in there?
Nothing. I like the controversy. It's good publicity for the museum.
What about your fights with J. Ross Richardson? Were they good for publicity?
I didn't like the fact that J. Ross Richardson bought his way onto the board of directors, and I told them so.
You even wrote the board a little letter calling J. Ross a power-hungry loudmouth clod for canceling your research project. And he tried to get you fired from your job.
Ancient history. We kissed and made up months ago.
Or so you thought until last night. I mean, you couldn't have been very happy when J. Ross told you he was going to keep the black jaguar for himself.
Wasn't the end of the world.
Maybe. Or maybe it was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Very apt, but not true.
Where'd you go after the auction last night?
I was at home. And as much as one of the city's most eligible singles hates to admit it, I was alone. Any other buried secrets you've discovered?
Just that the museum may have claimed to the jaguar from Richardson's estate.
So?
So with him out of the way, you may get your exhibit, keep your job, maybe even get a promotion. Not a bad motive for murder.
Except I'm innocent. But if you want to know what killed J. Ross, I'll tell you.
I'm all ears.
It was the curse of the black jaguar.
$2,250,000. 250?
$1,500,000.
5.
$1,750,000.
$2 million.
2 million.
Let's cut to the chase.
$3 million.
Chief Burke here. Oh, Peter, any luck with our museum curator?
She was about as forthcoming as a sphinx. How you doing with the auction tape?
I've ordered background checks on everyone who bid against our victim. In the meantime, I'm going to pay a visit to the Marquis Alec Duval.
Whoa, you're not going to Paris, are you, Dad?
No, Bel Air. He took a plane back to Los Angeles right after the auction.
Doesn't that strike you as a little curious?
You know what they say about curiosity?
Making wine the old-fashioned way. Oh, la, la. That's right. Now, squish those grapes between your toes. Oh, la, la. Come on. That's right.
Mr. Duval. I'm Chief Burke.
Oh. Now, listen, I know I don't have a license to do this, Chief, but you gotta understand, this is a centuries-old family process.
Using women in swimsuits to crush grapes.
It's still a time-honored family tradition.
I'm sure it is. But I'm here as part of an investigation into the murder of J. Ross Richardson.
C'est la vie, huh? He'll be missed. Say, I just opened a great 89 Chardonnay. Gerard, fetch Chief Burke a glass, would you? It's from my own vineyard up in Napa.
Yes, I have some of your father's wine in my cellar. Quite extraordinary.
Only if you have the pre-R vintages.
It's R for Richardson?
Exactly. Once he took over control of the company, it was all downhill.
Your wine, sir?
Thank you. And why was that?
My father made the best wines in the world. Unfortunately, he wasn't a very good businessman. A few years ago, he came close to losing everything that had been in my family for 10 generations. So he took on J. Ross Richardson as a partner.
Some people say Richardson stole your father's company.
Not true. When my father died, J. Ross assumed control. That's all.
Why didn't you go back to run the business?
My mother's American. I was born here. I wanted to make it on my own in California. Yeah, it's a lot more conducive to my interests.
What was your interest in the black jaguar sculpture?
I love cats. Is there something wrong with that?
Not unless it leads to murder.
Much as I wanted that sculpture, much as I detested J. Ross, I couldn't possibly have killed him.
Oh, that's right. You were in Paris last night, weren't you?
And I have the tickets and passport to prove it.
Well, then you certainly wouldn't mind if we checked out your alibi.
Why would I lie?
Well, to be honest with you, Mr. Duval, your alibi is a little like your wine. It looks like the real thing on the outside, but it's still too soon to know its true complexity.
How'd it go with Alec Duval?
His alibi checks out. The phone company confirmed that his video phone call originated in Paris.
I did some checking on Amanda Richardson. She was suing her husband, J. Ross, over a business dispute.
That makes for less than a perfect marriage. We'll go back and see her.
What about the curse? You think there's anything to it?
Oh, absolutely, Peter. Did I tell you that Bigfoot is joining us for dinner? Let's see what Lily has for us. Lily.
Don't even ask. It's that cat. First, I dropped a slide, destroyed some evidence. And then Dewey over there accidentally smudged some fingerprint samples.
In your wrist?
I tripped. I'm telling you, that cat has nothing but trouble.
Were there any fingerprints on her?
Well, it was covered with them. All of them different. Anyone at the auction could have touched it.
Did you x-ray it to see if there was anything inside?
Yes, I did. And no, there isn't.
What about Mr. Richardson?
You're not going to like this.
Try us.
I found traces of hair in the wound.
Human hair.
Cat's hair. Black.
Alec Duval has a black cat.
Wrong species. This hair came from a jaguar.
Here she is, sir.
Mrs. Richardson.
Gee, Burke. I wasn't expecting to see you so soon. This is a friend, Hank Watts.
How do you do?
He brought me these beautiful doves in memory of J. Ross. Put them in the sunroom on your way out.
Certainly.
I didn't mean to catch you at a bad time, but we need to talk to you about your husband's death.
I understand. It's all right. I was just going to take care of my roses.
That can't be good for the roses.
Don't worry, it's only water. That pump came from J. Ross's first service station up in Fresno. He brought it down here a few years ago. It's the only thing he was sentimental over.
We're done with the Jaguar for now, and we wanted to return it.
I don't want it. It's cursed. It killed J. Ross.
With all due respect, we believe that your husband was killed by a living, breathing human being.
You certainly don't believe that I did it, do you?
You stand to gain control of his whole empire and all that money that goes with it.
Oh, honey, I couldn't care less about his money. I was rich before I ever met J. Ross. My family had oil money back when J. Ross was still pumping gas in Fresno.
And that oil money has dried up, hasn't it?
I don't know what you mean.
But we did some checking. J. Ross was using a subsidiary to undercut your family's business. In fact, he pushed it into bankruptcy, didn't he? And we know that you were in a lawsuit over it.
All right. So I found out what J. Ross was doing a couple of months ago. I hit the roof. But I didn't do it. If you want to blame someone, why don't you talk to that young woman, Natasha, who told us about the curse?
We printed this from the auction's videotape. Is this the woman you mean?
That's her. She threatened J. Ross.
According to the auction house records, her name's Natasha Weller. Do you have any idea why she bid so much for the Jaguar?
I have no idea. I never saw her before last night.
I'll go talk with her.
One more question, Mr. Richardson. What would you like us to do with the Jaguar?
Keep it for all I care. I wouldn't touch it for all the money in the world.
Natasha Weller?
You must be Detective Burke. I've been waiting. Won't you come in?
Forget to pay your power bill?
I wanted to create the right atmosphere for an interrogation. I hope you don't mind. I was just getting ready to take a cat nap when you called.
Oh, I'll keep this as brief as possible. You told J. Ross Richardson about the curse on the Jaguar. 2 hours later, he's murdered.
It's not my fault he didn't believe me.
Well, why don't you tell me the story behind the Jaguar?
500 years ago, the Black Jaguar of Machu Picchu was sealed in a tomb with an Inca Virgin of the Sun. He was supposed to protect her eternal soul from harm. 60 years ago, the tomb was discovered by a British archaeologist, Nigel Hart. He removed the jaguar from the tomb.
Don't tell me he died under mysterious circumstances.
His throat was slashed. Nobody knows who did it or why. The jaguar was crated and put aboard a ship bound for England. 1 week out, off the coast of Grenada, the ship went down in a gale. There were no survivors.
How'd it end up in Beverly Hills?
It was salvaged by some treasure hunters who put it up for sale. You wouldn't happen to know where it is, would you?
I have it in a very safe place.
There is no safe place.
Did you know J. Ross Richardson?
Not at all. I just wanted the cat.
Badly enough to kill for it?
If I would have killed him, I would have taken it. Are we through? Because I need to take my nap. Would you care to join me?
Some other time. Call me if you have any more stories. I'll let myself out.
What's the matter, Henry? Don't you appreciate Hart?
Not the kind that can kill you. That cat's bad luck.
Oh, come on. It's nothing but a harmless curio.
Harmless!
That's a 500-year-old Ming vase that my grandmother gave me.
That's exactly what I've been talking about. That cat's evil. It should never have been brought in the house.
And maybe nothing would have happened if you'd paid attention to what you were doing.
Maybe. But we'll never know, will we? Get the broom.
What happened? It's a priceless antique.
Not anymore. Henry claims the Jaguar broke it.
You might have a point.
Now, don't you get started. Any luck with Natasha Weller, our $1 million bidder?
Other than the fact that she tried to sink her claws into me? No. However, I did come up with this. It's a background check on another one of our bidders at the auction, Joy Adams.
Joy Adams? Well, I recall she and her husband ran a safari business. They catered to the wealthy.
Including J. Ross Richardson. Her husband was on a hunting trip with J. Ross when he died. Fell off a cliff. Richardson said it was accidental.
But Joy Adams didn't believe it. First thing tomorrow, I'd like you to go out to Joy Adams' estate in Palmdale and have a chat about a cat.
I'm Detective Burke. Will you watch that gun? My badge is on the ground right there. Homicide.
Oh, so it is. Oh, I'm sorry about the trap. I find it's a lot more effective than a burglar alarm.
No kidding. I may have to get one of these of my own.
Yeah, no,
what was the gunshot about?
Oh, I was testing out a new rifle. You're here to talk about J. Ross, aren't you?
Yeah, we're investigating his murder.
Well, what do you want to know?
Would you mind, getting me down, huh?
Oh, sure, yeah, sorry. This may hurt.
Hey, whoa, wait! Second lock! Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. You want some help?
You've been enough help.
Oh, here.
We've done some checking.
Yeah?
After your husband died last year on that hunting trip with J. Ross in Alaska, you tried to get the DA to press murder charges. Why?
I was angry. I was looking for someone to blame, yes. My husband, Gerald, was an expert outdoorsman. He never made mistakes.
Well, why do you think J. Ross killed your husband?
Because he never gave a proper account of what happened. First, he claimed he didn't see him fall. Then he claimed he did see him fall. And the prosecutor couldn't prove anything, and we couldn't find a body. And after a while, I realized I would never know the whole truth, and so I just decided to put the whole thing behind me.
Why were you so interested in buying the Jaguar?
Spite. I knew J. Ross wanted it, and I didn't want him to have it. Unfortunately, he's a lot richer than I am.
Was a lot richer.
Was a lot richer.
Where'd you go last night after the auction?
I came back here. I was trying out a new lens for night photography. I'm leading a photo safari down the Amazon.
Did anyone happen to see you here last night?
Absolutely. 2 coyotes, a fox, and a family of owls.
Very good. Very good. One more question. Do you think the curse on the Jaguar is for real?
Look, I've traveled all over the world, and I've seen things for which there is no rational explanation. I've seen entire villages where people fell down and died after a curse. I've seen animals just disappear before my eyes. I've seen shaman heal people that modern medicine had given up for dead. So, I don't know, maybe it's real, maybe it's not, but the point is, it worked, didn't it?
Good point.
I just received the records on Alex Duval's passport. According to our records, Monsieur Duval entered and left France just when he said he did. I hope that helps.
I believe it does. Thank you.
Bon. And Amos, chérie, when are you coming to Paris again? There's no romance here without you.
In April? I promise.
Toujours la même chose. Au revoir, Amos.
Au revoir.
That's your French customs official? Ooh la la, Dad.
Ooh la la yourself. She was giving me information on Alec Duval, our wine-stomping marquis. He seems to be on the level, which is more than I can say for Natasha Weller, our suspect with a penchant for black cats and white candles.
What about her?
Well, her background check came in. Apparently, Ms. Weller has been out of the country 6 times in the last year. In fact, she applied for a visa to Argentina about 2 weeks ago. Right around the same time, she bought a one-way ticket to Buenos Aires.
When does she leave?
Tomorrow morning. I think we'd better pay her another visit.
May I help you?
We need to talk to Natasha Weller.
About what?
Well, it's a police matter concerning Ms. Weller.
I'm Natasha Weller.
Excuse me?
Did I do something wrong? I remember being invited to the auction at Melville and Sons, but I certainly never went there. I'd been out of town for almost 10 days. I own a bicycle tour business for senior citizens.
Is that why you're leaving for Buenos Aires tomorrow?
I met a doctor from there on one of my tours. He proposed, and I accepted. I'm going to live there.
How nice of you.
Thank you.
Do you know this woman?
Why, yes, that's Claudia Loring. Well, she often house sits for me. She's not in some kind of trouble, is she?
We really can't say. Would you happen to know where she is?
I'm not sure. Claudia didn't say where she was going. But I do know the name of her boyfriend.
Who would that be?
Alec Duval. He's a marquis, you know.
So we've heard.
Was that Claudia? Yeah, I thought that voice sounded familiar at the auction. Well, listen, I haven't seen her for some time. I mean, she was crazy.
In what way?
Well, Claudia had this mystical obsession with the Incas. You know, she once told me she was reincarnated from an Inca princess. I'm telling you, she was major league weird.
Well, if you hear from her, tell her we've got the Jaguar and I'd like to speak to her.
Whatever you say, Chief.
Boy, it's been a long day, huh?
Yeah. Unfortunately, this cat has led us on a wild goose chase. What's this, Henry?
Roast ham.
Looks a tad overdone.
I burnt it.
You never burn food.
The Jaguar made me do it. It's put a curse over this house. Enjoy dinner.
Amos, Peter, are they all right? I hope I'm not too late. I heard about this curse. I came over as soon as Oh, my goodness, what happened to your dinner?
Henry burned it.
I can't believe that. I thought St. Joan had it bad. Those chickens never had a chance. I knew that this was going to happen. Here, put these on, quick.
Vinny.
Amos, don't you understand? I am not going to answer for the consequences. They could be catastrophic. Catastrophic. Never mind. My mother thought of these. The garlic braids?
Oh, Vinny, I thought garlic worked on vampires.
Oh, see, my mother gets confused sometimes. Okay, forget about the garlic. Don't throw it away, though. Put that garlic in a big pot. 5 pounds of beans, a ham hock, an onion. Walk away. 3 days later, you got gas. So, look, I'm very busy. All right. Father Ramon, come in. Look, with the short notice that I had, this is the best I can do.
I didn't know Ramon was ordained.
I thought it was your waiter.
Well, actually, he's not ordained, but he does have some rooms catty-corner to St. Michael's. Oh, wait a minute. You were in the seminary for 3 days. The Monsignor told him to get out because his priorities were clearly culinary. And then he met me, and now he took a vow of silence. All right, come on. We got to get on with this exorcism.
Exorcism? What exorcism?
It's the exorcism to get rid of the curse that is upon this house. Don't you understand? We have to start immediately. Come on.
Before it's too late, Vinny?
No, before the real priests find out that we took his work clothes. He has a funeral tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Come on, don't stand there like a lox. Start exercising.
Vinny, that's enough.
All right, stop.
Has everyone around here lost their senses? There is no curse, and there's not going to be an exorcism.
Okay, fine. Then you're on your own. And good luck to you. Do not throw that garlic away. It's fresh. A word to the Weisenheimer. Don't eat this stuff. Eat out. No offense, Henry. Nice kitty. Okay, we're gonna go back to St. Michael's and watch out for werewolves. I tried.
It's Lily. He didn't bring any garlic for me?
Take mine. Hello? Oh, yeah. Thank you, Lily. Joy Adams, our professional hunter. 2 weeks after her husband died, J. Ross Richardson deposited $1 million in her bank account.
Sounds like you may have tried to buy her off.
I'll go see her and find out if the price was right.
Hold it right there.
Mrs. Adams.
I said don't move. Perfect. I hope Buster didn't scare you. I have to take him and air him out every so often.
Trophy?
Oh, from a long time ago. These are the only shots I take nowadays. What can I do for you?
I'm Chief Burke, homicide. The other day, you told my son that you had dropped charges against J. Ross Richardson because you wanted to put your husband's death behind you. Now, I've got a theory about that. Richardson bought your silence with $1 million.
That is not true.
Then why did he deposit $1 million in your bank account?
J. Ross Richardson would hire us for hunting trips. The more exotic the prey, the better. And last year, he offered my husband a proposition. A high-stakes stalking game in the Alaska wilderness.
Kill or be killed for $1 million.
Exactly. And my husband laughed it off, and they agreed to go bear hunting instead.
And only Richardson came back alive.
He wanted to make it up to me by giving me the money. And I was in shock, so I took it. But I could see the truth in his eyes.
You've just given me a motive for murder.
I only hunt animals. And I stopped doing that a long time ago.
You wouldn't happen to have a stuffed jaguar in your collection, would you?
Well, I didn't until recently. Why?
Whoever killed Richardson left jaguar hair in the wound.
Well, you'll have to talk to Leslie Dolan at the Natural History Museum about that. She was the one I loaned it to.
Excuse me, we're closed. Oh, Detective Burke, I wasn't expecting you.
It's quite a menagerie you have here. Everything looks so alive.
That's the idea. We strive for realism.
My father told me that Joy Adams donated a jaguar to the museum. Is this it?
As a matter of fact, it is. We didn't have one.
Because of J. Ross Richardson.
I don't know what you mean.
That research project you proposed was a study of jaguars in Peru. You wanted to have one killed and have it brought back here for display.
What else do you know?
Oh, just that you're an expert on South American jaguars. A little fact you neglected to tell me earlier.
I don't like to boast about my credentials.
Especially when they might lead to a murder charge. How long has that jaguar been missing its front leg?
What are you talking about? I had no idea, I swear.
I'll need to take some hair samples for forensics to be examined.
Look, if you want realism, talk to Hank Watts.
I've heard that name before.
He's a wild animal trainer.
Big guy, silver hair, deep tan.
That's Hank. I know for a fact that he owns a trained black jaguar.
And what does that have to do with the murder of J. Ross Richardson?
Don't you know? Amanda Richardson and Hank Watts are lovers.
Pussycat.
Detective Burke! No!
Sit down. Bad boy. How did you get out of your cage, huh?
You were lucky we dropped by. You could have been killed.
Like your husband?
We had nothing to do with his death.
It's not the way I see it, Mrs. Richardson. You had more than enough motive, and your lover here had the means.
I should have known you would find out about us, but I kept hoping against hope that you wouldn't.
How long have you two been having an affair?
Met in Sedona about a year ago. Hank has a ranch up there. You didn't know J. Ross. He could be the greatest gentleman in the world when he was trying to court you. But once you were his, he'd treat you like some trophy.
So you just happened to let Hank in with his jaguar to kill your husband?
You don't know what you're talking about.
We have evidence that indicates your husband's throat was slashed by the claws of a jaguar. My guess is I'm looking at his killer right now.
Well, guess again. Timber was declared 2 years ago. She couldn't slash anybody, even if she tried.
Well. Look what the cat dragged in. Natasha Weller. Or should I say Claudia Loring?
Go ahead and arrest me. I won't say anything until I meet with my lawyer.
We just want to talk, Ms. Loring. Why don't you sit down? Make yourself comfortable.
We know your father was the American ambassador to Peru, and that you lived down there for several years.
That's where I first heard about the jaguar. From the Indians in the Andes. It's not just a story to them, it's real. When I first saw the tomb where it was found, I went inside, and this incredible feeling washed over me. I actually passed out.
It could have been the altitude.
When I came to, there was this clawing inside, as if the spirit of the cat was inside me.
And how does Alec Duval fit into this?
Alec is about as deep as a puddle. But he had enough money to buy the cat. I thought he could help me. I was wrong.
And Natasha Weller?
She's just a harmless old lady who likes to bicycle. I knew she'd been invited to the auction and that she'd be out of town. I just took advantage of the situation. Look, I've told you everything. Please let me have the jaguar.
No, I'm afraid I can't do that.
Then it's your funeral. The curse has killed before, and it'll keep on killing until the jaguar is safely returned.
Last call.
$1 million.
$1 million has been bid.
$1,250,000.
$1,005,000.
$1,750,000.
$2 million.
$2 million.
Let's cut to the chase. $3 million.
Sorry I'm late. Some jerk ran a red light and hit my Jeep.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. My Jeep is crunched. It's this curse, Dad.
Please, it was an accident.
That car that hit me was a black Jag.
If it'll make you feel any better, Peter, I can assure you that J. Ross Richardson's killer was a real, live, flesh and blood person.
I know that look, Dad. You saw something on the videotape, didn't you?
Not something I saw, something I heard.
Chief.
Lily, how's the arm?
Oh, it itches like crazy. I've got some good news for you, though. The hair sample that Peter took from the jaguar at the museum is an exact match with the hair found on the victim.
Look, I'll work up a report and get a search warrant for Leslie Dolan's house.
Not so fast. Peter, get the number for Melville and Sons. I want to invite all our suspects to a very private auction. Tell them I've decided to put the Black Jaguar statue up for sale. I want to thank you all for coming here today. Before we begin the bidding, I'd like to announce that we know who killed J. Ross Richardson. It's you, Mr. Duval.
Me?
It's you that got me thinking about Paris again. Checking out your alibi reminded me how much I love the city. And I booked a trip for next April. Ms. Adam, if anyone understood the law of the jungle, it was you. J. Ross Richardson was responsible for your husband's death, and you could have waited to get your revenge. Except the only hunting you do now is with your camera. You're not our killer. Mrs. Richardson, you had the motive, the opportunity, and with your lover, the means to kill your husband. The only thing you didn't have was the will to carry out your desire. You have my condolences. Ms. Dolan, you hated J. Ross Richardson because he stood between you and everything you wanted from your career.
And we know the hairs on the victim's throat came from the jaguar at the museum.
I didn't kill him. I swear it.
I know. Though we came within a whisker of charging you with murder. Ms. Loring, you weren't completely honest with us, which was wrong. But I understand your reasons. As a matter of fact, I respect them. So take the jaguar and place it back where it belongs.
But I thought you said one of us was the killer.
So I did. And one of you is. N'est-ce pas, Monsieur Duval?
Well, I couldn't have killed him. I was on a plane from Paris.
Or someone who looked like you was. I'm convinced you were somewhere a lot closer. At home in Bel Air.
That's not true.
Isn't it? Your alibi would have been perfect except for one little detail. The sound of a police siren.
It's on the videotape from the auction. Coming from your monitor.
So what? They have sirens in Paris.
And so they do. But they have a very different sound than the ones we have here. When I was on the phone with French Customs checking your alibi, I heard one. I didn't think about it at the time. It was only when I reviewed the auction tape with my son and heard the siren on your phone line that I remembered. Play it, Peter.
This is the sound of an American siren. This is the sound of a French siren. You used call forwarding to make it look like you were in Paris.
And you knew about the curse because Claudia had told you. And planting those hairs on the victim was a very clever touch. Unfortunately for you, we found matching hairs in your bedroom closet.
No matter how rich J. Ross Richardson was, he was still nothing more than a common peasant. He had no right to take my family's land. 10 generations of Duval were born there, lived there, died there. He bought it just to boast about it to his nouveau riche friends. And what did I, the last Marquis Duval, get? A few lousy vineyards in Napa.
Dynasties often start with less. Unfortunately, yours is destined to be judged like your wine. Good start, bad finish. Peter.
I know this may sound silly, but I have to admit I'm glad we don't have that jaguar anymore.
You took that curse nonsense entirely too seriously.
Wait a second. Don't tell me you never thought twice about walking under a ladder or knocked on wood for good luck.
There's only one time in my life that I acted on a superstition. And that was before we were married, your mother and I. We were arranging her apartment, and we broke a mirror.
7 years bad luck.
That's what your mother said. So I figured there's got to be a way to beat it. And we found a justice of the peace. We got married that very day. So I traded in 7 years of bad luck for a marriage filled with blessings.
What a great story, Dad. How come you never told me that before?
I guess I was superstitious.
Okay, it's as good as it's ever going to be.
Good work, Henry.
You don't know how many hours it took to glue back together. Thank God that jaguar's gone.
I have to admit, I'm delighted everything's back to normal.
Blackout.
I'll get a flashlight.
No, I'll get it.
No, I'll get it, Henry.
Oh, Henry.
Oops.